And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get ready for our 27th race of the season. But more importantly, chase race number 1 of season 2 of the Hersheys Cup Series. We are getting ready for a 10-race battle in which 4 drivers will emerge to the final race of the season with a chance of winning the championship this year. 16 contenders for the championship. And the first obstacle that they're going to have to overcome is tonight's race at Chicagoland Speedway. It will be 41 laps of racing. A non-chaser starts on the pole. Johnny Gardner, his first pole of the season, highest starting chaser. Alongside of him in the 66 of Grayson Acevedo, whose only win this season so far came at South Boston. So we'll see how he does. We've got some other chasers starting up near the front of the field inside the top 10, including Row 3, comprised of the defending champion Anthony McCurry and two-time winner of the season Chris Dodd, and then Kyle Matthews starting the race off from 10th. You can also see James Richardson, Benjamin Miles, Zachary Fitzwater just outside of the top 10 in 12th, 13th, and 14th. But we got some contenders at the rear of the field as well, including Carson Scott, the Retro Racing Enterprises cars of Jessica Shelton and Charles Sanford, as well as Leon Alvarez, who is starting the furthest back of the championship contenders in this field. So we'll have to see how they all do here tonight. Let's go down, get the command to fire them up tonight at Chicagoland.
Drivers, start your engine!
There is the command to fire him up, and we are ready to go. These drivers are going to get ready for the first round of 4 in the chase for the championship. First round consisting of the following 3 tracks. Tonight's race at Chicagoland. Next week we're racing at Taylor Swift Superdome, and then the final elimination round for the first round of the chase takes place at the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, what happens in this chase is if a championship competitor ends up winning here tonight, regardless of what takes place at Taylor Swift or at Indianapolis, they make their way into the next round of the championship. The others are all determined by where they are in the point standings. 4 drivers will be eliminated by the time the checkered flag waves at Indy. So these drivers, their main goal, if they can't get to victory lane, at least be in the top 12 of the 16 drivers in the chase for the championship. Will track position be a key in the outcome of this race? We'll have to find out. A lot of championship competitors qualified their way into the second and final rounds of qualifying, so that says to me that more than likely track position will be key, but we'll have to see if drivers like Shelton, Sanford, Scott, and Alvarez can work their way up through the field, maybe via pit strategy. But we're ready to go. Chase race number 1 of season 2 of the Hersheys Cup Series is green. We're underway at Chicagoland. And we could have a battle for the lead here. Well, Marty Johnson thought about 3 wide. He's going to think about it again. Sticks it down to the inside once again. They're 3 wide coming off turn number 2. Car in the wall. Car spun. I think that might have been Fitzwater. Caution flag, I think, is out. That was a chaser in Zachary Fitzwater, and I don't think that he's the only one involved as the caution flag waves off turn 4. Grayson Acevedo going to get himself a valuable bonus point and lead the first lap of the night. So that didn't take long at all for trouble to break out. And I think it started with the 76 of Zachary Fitzwater, 2-time winner this season, championship competitor, and now comes the kind of scary part when you have to cycle through the rear of the field. Let's see how many white banners there are going to be of the damaged machines, and Leon Alvarez is one of them. Kat Tellier is involved, Cole Baker, also another chaser. Jake Baskinger, another chaser, and Benjamin Miles in the 25. I see JT Bryant, Marie Minobi, there's Ryan Madden involved. Another chaser. That, I believe, is, I can't make out, is that Sanford? I think that is Charles Sanford, as well as Levi McIntyre. Brandon Gonzalez involved. That's about 7 chasers right there. Joe Rockingham, he's smoking and is involved. Kyle Matthews may have been in it, along with Carson Scott. Trent Dunham, Joseph Srigley, Tim Walsh, Dylan Young, they're all coming to pit road. Oh man, there's the car that I think I saw get out of shape at the start, Zachary Fitzwater. And look what we got left for chasers right now that didn't pit there. Fitzwater, there's William Brock, Shelton, Poteet, Richardson, Chris Dodd, Anthony McCurry, and Grayson Acavito. There are more chasers involved in the wreck than there were not involved in the wreck. And Acavito getting some valuable bonus points for being out in front right now. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened. Caution flag comes out right away on lap number 1. And we had 2 wrecks take place on the same lap. One here on the back straightaway, the other one taking place out of 4 on the front straightaway. Let's take a look at the first one here. It's almost 4 wide with chasers Zachary Fitzwater and Benjamin Miles both trapped in the middle. Joshua Sekuli, who's just now trying to go for wins in that 47 car since he didn't make top 30 in the points to be able to compete for a championship. And there's the contact. It looks like Fitzwater got into McLeod. And in turn, Miles crowded somebody. I don't know if it was Elijah Gordon or Kyle Matthews there on the high side, and he got turned around as well. Everyone trying to avoid. There's Joseph Srigley getting turned around, right side of your screen. I think that contact came courtesy of Cat Tellier in the 35. But for the most part, well, I was going to say everybody gets through it. There you see Tim Walsh, Lee, and Alvarez. They get turned around, and there's Tellier then getting some more contact. Zach Flickinger might have gotten a piece of it there, along with Charles Sanfer, as everybody's trying to get around the 35. So, for the most part, that wasn't too bad. But then, let's head up here. Is coming out of turn 4. Oh, there's the contact right there. Oh, man. Minobi, Dunham, and Baskinger. And, oh, everybody had gone down to the apron to try and avoid, and Minobi tries bringing her car back up the racetrack, and there's already 3-4 cars already were outside. I think the car actually spun out on her there. And there's nowhere for Chaser Baskinger to go. Trent Dunham gets clipped. They go up into the wall, and then I have a feeling things are not over yet. You had all those drivers who had slowed up to avoid the wreck previously, and here they come. Levi McIntyre, Brandon Gonzalez. McIntyre right there. He's going to get the 93. He's going to go down into Brandon Gonzalez. It's going to send the both of them up. Well, it's going to send McIntyre up into the wall anyway. Gonzalez trying to hang on to it. And I think that a couple more wrecked further back, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I think Brandon Gonzalez is going to get hit again. Gonzalez trying to save the car. Snaps around on him again. And here comes JT Bryant. Right side of your screen. Wham! Right into the door of the 23 car. Nowhere for JT to go. JT's car is actually going to flip up onto its roof. And we should go back because I think there were some other drivers that got involved in this incident back here. Yes, there were. Cole Baker, Charles Sanford, Benjamin Miles. Let's see how they got involved. Who is it that slides down the racetrack in front of these guys? Can't see right there with the smoke. Okay, this is a better angle. It looks like it was Jake Baskinger. After the contact between himself, Trent Dunham, and Marie Minobi, his rear end just kind of, well, not even really comes down to traffic. Benjamin Miles just didn't slow down. And look at the hit there. Ryan Madden flips the 59 up and into the catch fence. Then here comes Cole Baker, makes some contact there along with Marie Minobi. There's Joe Rockingham, and Charles Sanfer clobbers the 28 of Benjamin Miles. That's the typical thing with these kind of speedway races, is a lot of high speeds, and as a result, a lot of high-octane impact. And there's everybody just trying to make their way through there. Tellier and Walsh and Srigley and Fitzwater. And it's just a mess from the back straightaway all the way over into the exit of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. And a lot of chasers involved in this one. Oh, there's another car upside down. Is that JT still flipping? I think the 22 was still flipping in the grass. It was. Wow. The 22 car was already flipping up on the high side of 4. And I guess he came down, got into the grass, and it just continued to send his car barrel rolling. Oh, no, did he get nailed by somebody? Oh, he got nailed by Cat Tellier. And then he gets into the grass right there, and that's what just starts his car barrel rolling. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Tim Walsh on the bottom left, cutting the grass through the infield, as was Joseph Srigley. My goodness. Lot of drivers involved here, and a lot of chase drivers involved. Remember I said you gotta Hope you don't have a bad race here, else you got to try rebounding in the next coming weeks at Taylor Swift in Indianapolis. Well, I think that's just been put number one on the agenda of a number of championship competitors at this point. So we are under caution for the first time here tonight. Let's see who remains. The lights are out atop the pace car. We will go back green. Leon Alvarez will continue. He'll be a lap down, though, and he'll line up on the inside of his teammate, the current race leader, Grayson Acevedo. But here comes the telling story of the drivers out of the race after what we just saw take place on lap 1. Drivers out of the race include Cole Baker. Chaser Jake Baskinger will finish 41st. Kat Teller, Marie Minobi, JT Bryant out of the race. Chaser Charles Sanford out of the race, 37th. Ryan Madden, he's out of the race. 35th is where Chaser Brandon Gonzalez will finish. 34th for Chaser Benjamin Miles. 33rd for Chaser Levi McIntyre. Surprisingly, only 5 Chasers, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yes, 5 Chasers are out of the race at this point. Leon Alvarez lines up a lap down. Also out of the race, cars of Trent Dunham and Joe Rockingham. So Alvarez will line up on the inside, 1 lap down. He is currently scored in the 30th position. It'll be Acevedo, Marty Johnson, Johnny Gardner, Anthony McCurry, Chris Dodd, the top 5 as we get ready to go back to green. It'll be on lap 6 of 41. Green flag back out, and looks like they're going to have very little trouble getting around the lap machine of Leon Alvarez. Well, as soon as I say that, Elijah Gordon seems to have some difficulty there as he tried going to the inside for position and now can't make his way around the Dodge dealer UAW Dodge Charger of Leon Alvarez. And now they're all just going to try splitting him. Is up here. Look at this. Battle for the lead over. Marty Johnson takes it. Chris Dodd trying to take the 3rd spot as Johnny Gardner gets the wall. That was a close call, but everybody gets through it okay. And Marty Johnson showing the way. Now Marty Johnson ended up finishing 2nd place a couple of weeks ago to Chris Dodd at Mid-Ohio. So he'd love to find victory lane for the first time this season. And the yellow flag is out once again. Can't say I'm surprised with the way that the chase has started. Drivers wanting to get every piece of real estate that they can, all the track position they can. I'm not really surprised to be seeing the caution flag waving as often as it is. Marty Johnson got the wall there off of 4, and Acevedo, for the 2nd time under caution, will be the race leader. Let's see who's involved this time, and more chasers involved. Again, Zachary Fitzwater in the 76. Daniel Voiles and Dallas McIntosh involved as well, creating a huge cloud of black smoke down the back straightaway. Pole sitter Johnny Gardner was in it, and Jessica Shelton also involved along with James Richardson. So 2 more chasers collected up in this one, the 11 and the 02, along with Fitzwater. Joshua Michaels also sits on the pit road, hood completely mangled up. And I wonder if it might have started with Leon Alvarez, the slower lap machine. Now he's got more damage on the hood of his machine. Jason Haywood also damaged on the 72 car. And there's a couple more drivers. There's another chaser, William Brock in the 15 coming to pit road. Also Sean Galligan and Cody Lamas are badly mangled. We are not going to have very many cars to finish out this race the way things are looking right now. And Acevedo, ahead of all the mayhem, leads us under our 2nd caution. Let's see what happened this time. Well, I was wrong. I was blaming Leon Alvarez for the wreck, and it was nothing to do with him. He was actually all the way back at the tail end of the field at this point. It led all the leaders on by. This is what happened. You saw it before when they were 4 wide with Chris Dodd trying to get by Johnny Gardner. Gardner was up into the wall all the way through 3 and 4. Killed a lot of his momentum, and James Richardson, the 11 you're going to see, is going to come into view on the right side of your screen. Now, he had not hit the wall, so he got a lot of good straightaway speed. He's going to try and make the move around Johnny Gardner for position on the high side, and I'm not really sure what Johnny was thinking here, because watch right here. Johnny moves up the racetrack to try and block him, and just flat out takes him out. Sends them both into the outside wall. I don't understand that at all. Gardner should have just let him get by, and he didn't. And watch what's going to happen as a result. Gardner's car going to come back up the racetrack, and here it goes. Voiles, nowhere to go. Hartnett gets a piece of it. McIntosh, nowhere to go. Sean Galligan, there he is involved. Norman gets a piece of it. There you see further back, Michaels, Alvarez, Lamas, Shelton. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be very angry with Johnny Gardner after this one. Dylan Young involved. There's William Brock in the 15. I don't know how he necessarily gets a piece of this, but he did come to pit road for repairs. And then, as if this isn't enough, I have a feeling we're going to have more drivers come flying in just a moment. Looking for the 84 of Joe Rockingham. I don't see him, but he was smoking earlier. Was there another incident that happened further up? Where's the 84 of Rockingham? Because he was damaged. I don't see him. All right, maybe it wasn't. Maybe he wasn't involved. Never mind. I think it was the earlier incident. Now, let's see with Fitzwater how he got involved. There's Richardson already going to pit road. And we'll see with Fitzwater here. Who does he get into? Oh, yeah, he's just caught on the high side, nowhere to go. And being caught on the high line, you're kind of boxed in. It's hard to go from 160 down to 0 in 0.5 seconds. Boy, Richardson took a hard lick there from Joshua Michaels. And then as Michaels is spinning around, Fitzwater, right there, runs into the back of him. A lot of drivers involved in this one. We're going to have to settle out, see who's left for the Chasers after a second huge wreck here at Chicagoland. Getting ready to go back green, you can see Jessica Shelton lines up on the inside line. Now, there's good news and there's bad news for Jessica Shelton. The bad news is she's a lap down in the 21st position, but the good news is she is the 8th highest running chaser on track right now. That's right, there are only 8 chasers. Half of our chasers are out of the race, half of them on the racetrack. As here's the way they'll line up. It'll be Grayson Acquavito, the leader, Marty Johnson, Chris Dodd, Joshua Zakuli, Anthony McCurry. That's the top 5. So 3 chasers in the top 5. And there are 4 of them in the top 10 with Dylan Poteet restarting in 9th. Green flag back out. Drivers out of the race after what just happened. Sean Galligan, Jason Haywood, Johnny Gardner, Dallas McIntosh, Leon Alvarez, and James Richardson. A couple of chasers out of the race now in 26th and 27th. Daniel Voiles, Joshua Michaels, they're out of the race, as well as 2-time winner and chaser Zachary Fitzwater. So we have basically half of our field left on the racetrack, and half of our chasers still left. So, now the question is, can we stay green? We've run 2 cautions already in our first 11 laps of this race. It's taken out half our field and half our chasers. Battle for the lead again. Marty Johnson. Battle's been between him and Grayson Acquavito, but the two of them haven't really been able to put on a show because every time they have a battle started, the caution flag seems to come out. And it's out again, of course. Wow. I knew the first race of the chase was going to probably be a race of attrition, but I didn't realize it was going to be this bad. And Marty Johnson, for the first time tonight, will lead under caution. Ben Acquavito the last 2 times. And this time the caution flag coming out for, looks like maybe a couple of rookies, Nathan Hudson and James McLeod. Spin on the back straightaway, apparently, as you can tell by the skid marks and the smoke. So we've run 14 laps, and we've run probably about 10 of those laps under the caution flag. But it looks like we might have pit stops under this yellow. So this could shake the field up a little bit. Nope, never mind, they're not pitting. So let's see what happened. We're under the caution for the 3rd time here tonight, and we're not even halfway yet here at Chicagoland. This one coming off turn number 2, James McLeod slides up, gets into the wall, but as he slides up the racetrack, as does the 7 of Nathan Hudson, I guess. Oh no, it was Michael Norman who slid up, and he gets James McLeod in the left rear, sends him down into Hudson. There's where Hudson goes up and gets the wall, and then McLeod comes up and gets him again. Now look at this, chasers having to avoid again. This time, William Brock and Kyle Matthews slowing up in time. Jessica Shelton, how did she avoid? Man, nice job by the 02 car. Cody Lamas also evasive action to avoid. So we could have had another huge multi-car wreck right there. Fortunately, we got away with it basically just being 2 cars spinning up to the outside, but I guess for the most part 3 cars involved if you count the contact sustained by Michael Norman in the 3. So that's what put us under the caution, and at the time I think that was a battle for the 15th position. So that's what put us under the caution again. Let's go back to green, and may we stay there for the rest of the race, please. Well, it's an unusual sensation, but after a caution, nobody out of the race. James McLeod, Michael Norman, Nathan Hudson, they are all continued. Hudson and McLeod came to pit road and got their damage repaired, so we still have 21 cars still running. I believe Hudson, though, is off the lead lap now. No, he's still on the lead lap. Never mind. Shelton's the only one a lap down in 21st place. Let's break it down as far as the top 5 is concerned. Marty Johnson is the race leader. He has yet to go to victory lane. His best finish second, most recently at Mid-Ohio. Grayson Acavito, he went to victory lane not too long ago at South Boston. He lines up second. Joshua Sekuli, 2-time winner this season. He is his most recent at Watkins Glen. He's third. Chris Dodd, 2-time winner this season, winning back-to-back races a couple of weeks ago at Mid-Ohio and Kentucky. He lines up fourth, and Dylan Poteet lines up in fifth, trying to get his first win in a long time. I'm trying to remember where his win came at. There's a couple drivers that are down on the apron there. That was Carson Scott, and I couldn't tell who the other one was. It might have been Nathan Hudson. I think they might be coming to pit road. Not certain why. I'll try and document that in just a moment, but the green flag is back out once again here, this time on lap 18 of 41. And yes, Scott and Hudson are coming to pit road. Now, why they're coming, I'm not certain. Hudson in. Looks like maybe a gas and go for him. And Carson Scott maybe trying to play some strategy here. He's a chaser who right now is within the top 8 of the chasers currently on track. So, the top 8 highest running chasers. So, you know what? Why not try to go for some strategy here? The number the chasers are trying to avoid is number 13. 13th in the chase. And right now, as things would stand, the drivers that would be in the danger zone would include Jake Baskinger, probably Brandon Gonzalez, Levi McIntyre, and possibly Charles Sanford. Of course, none of that will be confirmed until after the checkered flag waves, and our very studious points managers figure out who is going to have what number of points. Battle for the lead very quickly over as Marty Johnson kind of overran turn 4, and Acavito will clear for the lead. Battle now for second. Here comes Joshua Sekuli on Marty Johnson. Now Nathan Hudson just got trapped a lap down after an extended stay on pit road. I don't know if the same can be said for Carson Scott or not. No, I think he got off pit road ahead of the leaders. And no, he did not. Nope, he is a lap down now in 20th place. But he could be banking on this thing going green to the end, and if these leaders have to pit, Carson Scott could find himself back on the lead lap. And maybe in good shape as battle is on for second. Chris Dodd to the inside of Marty Johnson. Joshua Sekuli there as well. They're all trying to run down Grayson Acavito. Oh, some contact right there between the 20 and the 08. They keep it together, though. Almost shades of what happened under our third caution with Michael Norman and James McLeod. And looks like Chris Dodd is going to clear Marty Johnson. Johnson up and into the wall, and he nearly got punted by Joshua Sekuli. Dylan Poteet running there in 5th. Emmanuel Hartnett in 6th. Elijah Gordon runs 7th, and it's Norman, Kyle Matthews, Anthony McCurry. That is your top 10. The caution's out again. And that takes the strategy that Carson Scott was trying to use completely out the window now. So the yellow flag out again. Looks like a spin out of turn 4. Going to put us under this caution. And now it begs the question, a lot of drivers, a long green flag run. We saw Grayson Acavito's got some right side damage. Marty Johnson was up in the wall. Something tells me now we're probably going to have some drivers hit pit road. Well, at least for Carson Scott, he'll more than likely be able to cycle back on the tail end of the lead lap, but I don't know if he's going to get to go around the pace car. So this may not necessarily, in either way, shape, or form, be the caution he wanted to see. Let's see if the leaders will come to pit road this time. We are now past the halfway point, and no, they are not coming to pit lane. Is anybody going to come to pit road? Doesn't look like it. And the driver that I believe might have brought out this caution flag was the 5 of Tim Walsh. Carson Scott's got some damage. He might have been involved in that. We'll have to see. We're under the yellow flag once again. I'm shocked that the leaders have not had to come to pit road yet. But we're under yellow. Let's take a look and see what happened. Put us under the caution for the 4th time here tonight at Chicagoland. This was just inside the top 10. I believe Tim Walsh was 9th last time by. And he gets into the wall. James McLeod's trying to find a way up the middle between Walsh and Dylan Young and just kind of hooks the both of them around. That's some pretty heavy contact right there for the 2 of Dylan Young, as well as the 5 of Tim Walsh. And the two of them are the ones that left the skid marks with spinning. Dylan Young, however, was able to mash the throttle, drive away. Walsh, not so lucky, had to wait an extra spin or two before he was able to drive away from the incident. And Carson Scott was not involved in the 38 car. He just was far behind the field. So he was not involved in the wreck, was Chaser Carson Scott. So I don't think anybody's going to be retiring from that contact. So it looks like we may run 2 caution flags here with nobody out of the race. Definitely a welcome change after the first 2 cautions, which took out half of our racing field. So as we get ready to go back green, and with the leaders not coming to pit road, that was definitely not the caution Carson Scott wanted to see. Now he finds himself trapped a lap down, along with Nathan Hudson, who I believe is now 2 laps down in the 7 car. Jessica Shelton still a lap down to the leaders as well. They are 19th, 20th, and 21st. Let's give you a full field rundown of the drivers still remaining. Grayson Acavito has been one of the 2 dominant cars of the evening. I think he's led the most laps at this point as well, trying to make himself get a golden ticket automatically into the next round of the chase. He's the leader. Chris Dodd lines up right behind him, though, in second. Marty Johnson's in third. Fourth is Joshua Sakuli. Dylan Poteet fifth. Then it's Emmanuel Hartnett sixth. Elijah Gordon's in seventh. Eighth is Michael Norman. Ninth is Kyle Matthews. Completing your top 10 is Anthony McCurry. James McLeod still soldiering on in 11th. John Arndt there in 12th. He could be a sleeper. William Brock's 13th. Zach Flickinger still running 14th. Joseph Strigley in 15th. 16th, Cody Lamas. 17th, Dylan Young. And 18th is Tim Walsh, the last car on the lead lap. Green flag to come back out here, and it will be with 15 laps to go. Get Dylan Poteet jumping up there 3 wide on Joshua Sakuli. That could get a little interesting going into turn 1. Everybody trying to get around the slower lap machine of Jessica Shelton, and the battle continues for 4th place. Doesn't look like Poteet will get it, though. Sakuli will clear him and keep the 4th spot. And look at him behind him there. Actually, look ahead of him. This is going to get very interesting, too. Oh, Poteet up into the wall. Elijah Gordon into him, and they saved it. Wow, that was close. Hartnett slow there on the inside. I think he might have gotten the wall. And look at Michael Norman around the outside line now trying to crack into the top 5. And look up ahead. This is the battle for the 4th position. Kyle Matthews has caught Joshua Sakuli. Here comes the Daytona 500 winner. Further ahead, Marty Johnson will clear Chris Dodd for the 2nd spot. Oh, Dodd's going to go up. He's going to get the wall. That's going to scrub off quite a bit of speed for him. That allows Marty Johnson to scamper away with 2nd place, and now he'll try and reel in the 66 of Grayson Acavito. I'd be surprised if anybody doesn't have right side damage. Caution flags out again. It's got to be something out of 4. And Cody Lamas is the slow car. So I don't know if it was him or not. Caution out again. 5th time tonight. We've been under the yellow, and again, more smoke out of turn 4. So Grayson Acavito, I don't know if he's loving or hating these caution flags, because yes, they allow him to lead under caution. He doesn't have to worry about someone breathing down his neck under green flag conditions, but he gets great restarts when we do go back green. So I'm not really certain which side of the spectrum the 66 wants to be on. Does he want the cautions, or would he rather it remain green? Every lap that ticks away under cautions, one last lap he has to defend his lead with, but he's not had to do much defending under green flag conditions either. And we will be restarting with less than 10 to go. And I think the possibility of this race ending under yellow is very, very great. So I believe Cody Lamas was the reason for this caution coming out, so let's take a look and see what happened to the 78. It's just that push up off of turn 4 for so many drivers. Dylan Young into the wall. Cody Lamas' car slides up there into him. They're making contact. Cody turns down to try to get off of him, but he can't turn down that far because William Brock's there, and unfortunately it just slips up on him again. It's the second time that Dylan Young's been put into the wall there that's safe for barrier off turn 4. First time was courtesy of James McLeod and Tim Walsh. And there you see the 78 car spins around on the front straightaway, but he gets the car straightened and continues on, but that was enough to bring out a caution flag for our 5th time here tonight at Chicagoland. We have basically run a 5th of the laps with the number of cautions that have come out. 28 laps completed at this point, 5 cautions. Boy, definitely a wreck-filled race here at Chicagoland. No doubt about that. Lights are out top. The pace car will go back green, and it will be with less than 10 to go. When we get the green flag, there will be a total of 8 laps remaining, which means that the lap cars will line up single file with the lead lap cars. Grayson Acavito, the leader. Marty Johnson, second. Chris Dodd in third. Fourth, Joshua Sekuli. Kyle Matthews has now cracked the top 5 in fifth. Michael Norman now up in sixth. Then Elijah Gordon, seventh. Poteet fell back to eighth. Emmanuel Hartnett's in ninth. Then you got the lap machines of Jessica Shelton and Carson Scott separating 9th place back to 10th place, Anthony McCurry. 11th, James McLeod. Flickinger is up now to 12th. Joseph Srigley's in 13th. Tim Walsh 14th. William Brock 15th. 16th is John Arndt. Nathan Hudson is 21st, 2 laps down. And then 17th and 18th are Dylan Young and Cody Lamas. They are the last cars on the lead lap. Right now, as far as chasers, the ones that are in contention to maybe move on to the next round with a win, Grayson Acavito, Chris Dodd, Kyle Matthews, and you could throw Dylan Poteet into the mix there as well. Anthony McCurry's got some work to do if he's going to get up here. Green flag back out here on lap 34. 8 laps to go. And Marty Johnson to the inside for the race lead off of Grayson Acavito. He wasted no time. And he'll clear for the lead off of 2. Acavito, though, you can bet's going to try and get the spot back. Here he comes, driving it deep into turn 3. Marty Johnson may have run a little wide, gets the wall. Acavito takes the lead back. And here's the battle here for third place. Sekuli, Dodd, and Kyle Matthews. These guys got to stop racing amongst themselves if they're going to reel in the 66, because every time he gets the lead, he checks out. Still side by side for the third position. Let's see how Acavito gets off the corner as opposed to Marty Johnson. Drifts it up, but not too bad. Marty Johnson does the same. Chris Dodd gets the wall, though, and he's going to lose 3 spots right there. Loses third to Sekuli, fourth to Hartnett, fifth to Kyle Matthews. He may lose more. Here comes Dylan Poteet and the lap car of Carson Scott. We're still green. Emmanuel Hartnett out of nowhere up to the 4th position now. And Marty Johnson is slowly reeling in Grayson Acavito. We're getting to the point now where a caution flag would end the race. Acavito still leading. If he wins, doesn't matter what happens at Taylor Swift Superdome. Doesn't matter what happens at Indy. He's locked into the next round of the chase for the championship. And he has been one of the 2 strongest cars of the night. The other strong car is trying to run him down. Marty Johnson in the 20. Meanwhile, third place now is Emmanuel Hartnett. He has been really good in this closing stage. And Joshua Sekuli there in 4th. Battle on for 5th between a couple of chasers. Chris Dodd, Kyle Matthews, some contact off of 4. And Dodd's now going to try and go for 3rd off Sekuli. Here comes the 08 once again. And the gap is opening up between Marty Johnson and Grayson Acavito. Contact between Kyle Matthews and Joshua Sekuli. They both got hard into the wall off 2, but they both managed to keep it straight. We still somehow are green. Oh, Matthews up into the wall again. Sekuli kind of followed him there, and now Matthews, I think that contact off of 2 has really hurt the handling of his race car. Here's a battle. This is actually for the 6th place. Michael Norman and Joseph Srigley now. As up ahead, Marty Johnson trying to reel in Grayson Acavito, but I don't know if he's going to be able to. Steadily 3/10 added on every lap by the 66 car. This time by, he had a 1.8 second advantage between himself and the 20. It's now grown to 2 seconds. Back to Marty Johnson. Best battle is going on for the 5th position. That's where Dylan Poteet, Joseph Srigley, and Michael Norman are battling behind the lap machine of Carson Scott. Oh, almost some contact there off 2 between Scott and Poteet. They keep it together, though. Regardless of what happens tonight, Acavito, Chris Dodd, Dylan Poteet, they're going to leave with good points nights. And Carson Scott gets into the wall. Contact with Michael Norman. Norman nearly hooked the 38. White flag was just displayed for the 66 of Grayson Acavito. He made it into the chase late in the regular season with a win at the short track of South Boston. he will be a contender in the next round of the chase, as he will pick up his second victory of the season. He'll go to victory lane here tonight in chase race number 1 at Chicagoland. And Marty Johnson out of Joe Gibbs Racing, kind of having the Cody Lamas look of earlier on this season. Bridesmaid, runner-up, just cannot find victory lane. And Graceland Acavito and that 66 team, they can work some strategy in the next couple of races, because they're locked into the next round of the championship hunt. Regardless of whether they DNF, start and park, who cares in the next 2 weeks? They're locked in to the next round of the chase for the championship. Took us 5 cautions and half the field retiring to get to that point. But no doubt about it, definitely the 2 strongest cars finishing 1-2 here tonight. Acavito with the win. Marty Johnson will finish second once again. Chris Dodd, great run for him. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe he's going to take over the top of the leaderboard for the chase points now. 2-time winner finishing 3rd place. And Emmanuel Hartnett and Joseph Srigley, great top 5 runs for the 2 drivers out of Srigley Motorsports, those 2 teammates. Dylan Poche will finish in 6th. He was one of the drivers coming into the chase where the momentum was not really on his side, but he finishes 6th place tonight. Michael Norman, great run in 7th. Anthony McCurry, the defending champ, he's up in 8th for the finish of this race. Joshua Sekuli in 9th, and James McLeod will finish the night out in 10th. And it was Elijah Gordon, John Arndt, Kyle Matthews slipped all the way back to 13th after he hit the wall twice, once out of 2 and following it up out of 4. Dylan Young will finish 14th, 15th, Tim Walsh. And then you got William Brock finishing in 16th place. Didn't really talk much about the 15, but he at least survives. Zach Flickinger gets 17th, Cody Lamas 18th, last car on the lead lap. Carson Scott and Jessica Shelton, they'll finish 19th and 20th, but the good news for them, they were 7th and 8th highest finishing chasers tonight. So they'll maybe be in somewhat good position. Depends on what they do in the next 2 weeks. And Nathan Hudson was the last car to finish 2 laps down in 21st. And then here's the remainder of the field out of the race. Most notably the chasers. Leon Alvarez, 26th. James Richardson, 27th. Zachary Fitzwater in 30th. Levi McIntyre, 33rd. Benjamin Miles, 34th. 35th. Brandon Gonzalez. Charles Sanford, who came in as the number 1 seed, 37th tonight. And Jake Baskinger going to take the huge hit here tonight, 41st place for him. So the question is, who's in the danger zone now? 2 drivers I'm certain are in the danger zone at this point are Brandon Gonzalez and Jake Baskinger. I don't know, maybe Levi McIntyre as well. I don't know who's going to be in the danger zone, though, between Fitzwater, Miles, and Sanford. More than likely, there'll be more between Miles and Sanford of who is probably in the 13th position in the points heading into next week. But Grayson Acavito can breathe a sigh of relief. He's into the next round of the chase for the championship with his win here tonight at Chicagoland. Hope you guys enjoyed this race. I know it was wreck-filled, but, you know, that's what seems to happen here at Chicagoland all the time. I don't know. Tried a different version of Chicagoland, too, and still end up with a wreck fest. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. Here's your full finish results once again down through 42nd place. And we will now show you your rookie points, overall points, and your chase points heading into next week. Next week, we go short track racing at Taylor Swift Superdome. So that should be awfully interesting. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the defending champion, Anthony McCurry, is the defending race winner at that track. So we'll see what takes place there. And we'll see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Good night from Chicago.